So good morning. It is Monday again. These just keep rolling around, and some days they're great, some Mondays they're not so great. And here comes my battle.
Good
Hi
morning.
there.
Are we live?
We are live.
Oh, okay. I, of
So
course,
don't say anything bad about your computer.
Monday morning and forcing me to restart because I've been just doing domestic things this morning.
Oh, that sounds horrible for Monday.
Yeah, I took some time and went shopping yesterday. So all of my normal Sunday adulting chores didn't get done. So I'm scrambling trying to get it done before in the zone.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I know I've been up a long time this morning getting a lot of work done in the morning. It's been productive.
I know. I've seen the
The
emails coming through.
emails flying, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I have 1,100 emails in my inbox. I've looked at them all. I've responded to probably 95% of them, but there's still a lot more to get through.
Yeah, I'm sure I have 1,100 emails or more that I haven't even been able to get to. I don't know how
I at
you.
least read them and then I put them in my, Russ's suggestion of my list of intentions so that I can remember to get back to them. But sometimes you just wake up in the middle of the night and you go, "Holy crap! I forgot to email so and tell them such and such," and then it's like, okay, I'll do
I
it in the morning.
know.
But then you can't go back to sleep, or I can't go back
I,
to sleep.
yeah, I'm overwhelmed sometimes with people reaching out, communications, and those poor people on LinkedIn that really want to email me or message me on LinkedIn. Like that's the last place that I go to respond. So sorry, LinkedIn people.
I really need to. I know that there are a lot of good resources for work developing your LinkedIn profile, but and if any of you are listening to this and you do that or you're aware of that, here's my pet peeve about LinkedIn. It has become a sales lead generator for connections, and I am just so over it that you accept somebody because you have a shared connection or a shared interest, or they are connected to people that you are connected with, and then as soon as you hit accept, you if it's not set on auto response, very shortly thereafter, within 5 minutes, you get this big long email about how what they're selling is what you need, and would you mind spending some time with me? Well, I've already spent too much time with you, actually, if I'm honest. And I've really been, and people are going to say I'm awful for saying this, but I'm going to confess to this anyway because this is part of managing my life. Is that I write them back and let them know that I got their message because I think that's as a courtesy they at least deserve that much. And if you don't, they'll just keep emailing you. And and I tell them I connect on LinkedIn because we have shared interests or shared contacts. I didn't accept them because I wanted something that they were selling. So if they want to have a conversation and I can learn about them and see who I can connect them to, and they want to learn about me and see who they can connect me to, I'm happy to have that conversation. But if you don't want to have that conversation, then please take me off of your mailing list. I'm telling you, I have a template on Word and I just copy it and paste it.
Oh, you're
And
adorable.
I've had some very productive conversations with the people that do this. They either don't understand or didn't understand the implications of sending a sales pitch immediately after you connect when they're on auto response. And some of them have apologized profusely for junking up my inbox on LinkedIn. Others just kind of disappear into the middle of the night, and that's fine. That's where I wanted them to go anyway. So it doesn't, it served a purpose. But I don't say it to be mean. I say it because if you don't understand the impression you're making, then you need to know because I've said this the whole time I've owned businesses. If something in my business isn't working right, I want a customer to tell me so that I can correct that because I don't want to keep making the same mistake over and over and over again. And so that's my public service is my
I just
public
shared our
service
I just
is
shared
to
our video or from from Action Zone to my Facebook page. And I put Rosie is sharing her thoughts on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn rant of the day. It's just
Yeah.
so annoying because I don't just accept everybody. I reject a lot of people on LinkedIn because they're not connected to me. I know they're going to sell me something. I don't care. But I think that if you don't listen to the people in your network, including your customers or other people in your network, then you're missing the boat. You're making a bad impression, and I would never recommend you to anybody because of that. So I'm actually doing them a favor.
You're so funny.
I've been up a long time today.
Yeah.
I've
And
had
it's
half a
like,
pot of coffee
I
already.
was
I
gonna
can
say,
go
and I've had a lot of
on
coffee.
this forever.
Yeah. So you said something in your rant about knowing what we do or something like that, and it immediately set my mind to our annual survey. So I've been reaching out to people saying, "Hey, can you please do the annual survey?" And I'm surprised at how many people said, "Oh, I've already done it." So that's good. Or, "Yes, I'll get to it." So I appreciate that. So you guys out there, you alum are listening. If you got an email from Rosie to fill out the survey, please do that
And
because
if you don't, you're going to get a happy little text or voicemail from uh, Valerie or Russ or Kashima or Shirley asking you to do that.
yeah, because those numbers are important. We don't sell the information.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that.
Yeah.
But we do use, we tell every cohort this. And some of the cohorts, especially in 2020 when we had to shift to virtual and things kind of looked a little different then, out of necessity because we just didn't we wanted to recreate the in-person experience on a computer thing. And
Mhm.
so that was
Computer
it, we
thing.
did do some definitely different things, but the program has evolved because of people who completed surveys. The customers to back to this, listen to your customers thing. Customers told us what worked and what didn't, and so we made those adjustments like a good business should. So if you have suggestions, and I'm going to put the caveat, they have to be constructive suggestions. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that will tell me to go jump off a pier.
Yes.
And I don't, because I don't swim where I fish. So you can save your breath. I'm not going to do that. But if you, we want to hear from you because we want to know what you need. We want to know if what we provided fulfilled any of those needs, and what else we can do to make your business success, you and your business successful, because that's the only reason we're here. We're not doing this for us.
We're not getting rich off this.
We're not getting rich off of this. No.
Uh, yeah, I had a interesting conversation with somebody on Friday that I haven't been able to tell you about, but I will later. Um, and it was, how do I say this? Anyway, they thought that we were making a lot of money in Action Zone. And I was like, are you kidding? You know, we're, we're
It's
not a United
the one
Way.
time where you wish perception was the same as reality, right?
Yeah. And well, and then I was like, well, this particular person really hasn't taken the time to get to know the founders and the facilitators and people involved because they would know immediately.
Yeah,
It's not about the money. It is what, as Kashima always says, fills our cup.
that's right. And
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that starts a nonprofit for the money. If they do, they're sadly disillusioned.
Well, that and because of the nature of our organization, being an entrepreneur um, support organization or service organization, and we're all entrepreneurs ourselves, like
Hmm.
we definitely focus on both building and growing Action Zone for our customers as well as our own businesses. So
Yep.
anyway, enough of that. What do we got going on? Oh, we have Q&A this week.
Yes, we do. Wednesday night, 6 o'clock Q&A. And we'll preface that by saying that we've already announced that we've got two new cohorts coming up. We have an in-person in Tampa coming up that starts on September 17th. We'll be tentatively right now at the ECC in Hillsborough County in Ybor, which is just where our office is and one of our favorite places in the whole world, and best restaurants there. And then we have a virtual cohort that starts on October 22nd, and it is for anybody else in the state of Florida. So if you're in Tampa, it's in person. But if you're not in the Tampa Bay region, then we've got the virtual in October for you to join. And both of them are 8-week classes. They're Saturday mornings from 9 to 1. Um, I say 8-week classes, there's 8 classes because actually we kind of miss a couple of weeks for holidays and stuff like that. But there's 8 classes. And by the time you finish the class, you will have completed your business model and you will be launched or ready to launch. And that's the goal. Not everybody can launch in 8 weeks. Some people come to us with just this vague idea of what they want to, what direction they want to go in. And so, it's unlikely that in 8 weeks time you're going to launch a business. But at the end of 8 weeks, you could launch any business because what we teach you is applicable to any business that you ever want to start again, or new products or services for your business. Gives you all the tools you need to vet your idea, find your customers, figure out how you're going to make that MVP work, and get your beta product or service out there. So I'm really excited. We love the whole process, but the first couple of weeks with all the new cohort members is always really exciting. And we'll take about 25 people in the class, and we almost got that many. So don't hesitate. Make sure you register.
Yeah, it's going to be quite competitive, these two cohorts to get in, I think, because we have really worked very hard on our expansion efforts, and getting out the word out there. I am always excited about the last cohorts of the year because I'm like, you are preparing for your next year, 2023 activities.
Yep.
So whether you are ready to launch at the end of, this cohort, or you are not, you still have a working plan.
Yep.
So you have focus, you have direction. Yeah, the last cohorts are always exciting. And I know sometimes the cohort members get a little overwhelmed because it butts up into the holidays, but then you have the holidays to kind of decompress and
Yep.
can, reflect on the course, and your business model. And then in January, hit the ground running.
Yep. And then we
And
have I'm sorry, go ahead.
now you go.
Then the really exciting thing is the other cohort that starts on October 5th is Action Zone Incubate. So the difference for those of you who are listening and are like, I don't know which one is right for me. And I spoke to somebody, I'm not going to tell you who it is, but
Uh-oh.
it might be in that Incubate class, and you're going to be so excited. And if that person ends up on this chat listening to this, because sometimes this person cannot wait to talk to you this week. Anyway, Action Zone Activate is for the early stage. I've got an idea and I don't know what to do with it, or I know I can start a business. I'm just not sure what concept to start with. And that's where you build your business model and you figure out the strategy you need from that point to where you're headed, where you are to where you're headed. Action Zone Incubate is an experience, a more fine-tuned and intense experience where you are working with 10 or 15 other people in Incubate. A subject matter expert will come in and help you talk about some of the common challenges of startup businesses, give you actionable steps that you can take to solve your particular challenge. And then you meet again and you have this kind of mastermind group of people in the Incubate that are all working on this same challenge and trying to solve that together. So you kind of figure out, you talk about, did I take that SME's advice? How did that work? Oh, well, I tried that. And here's what happened to me and what I decided to do as a result. So it's a really great, intense experience with other veteran entrepreneurs who are revenue generating and are actively working on growing that revenue generation. And we haven't had funding for it in a year and a half. So really excited that we're able to offer this cohort starting on October 5th. It will be in person. And although the Q&A that I'm doing on Wednesday night is for Activate, I will be scheduling a Q&A for Incubate shortly.
Yeah, really excited about all of that. I have a feeling I know who it is. I'm so excited. And just so those listening understand, the play on words for our Activate or our Incubate and Accelerate is intentional. We are not an incubator and we are not an accelerator. These programs are to prepare you for applying for those incubators and accelerators that are appropriate for whatever business you have, whatever industry you have. Action Zones believes in helping you with the foundation, the business of running a business. It's the same no matter what product or service you are running, whether you're
Right.
for profit, not for profit. It doesn't matter. You have to know how to run your business. And so we make sure you have that foundation. So if you got your eyes on Tampa Bay Wave or Veteran in Residence or whatever it is, Action Zone is your first stop.
Yep. Yep. And then it'll make you very well prepared for that next level. We since the very beginning, since 2018 when we started, the whole purpose was to help veterans and military spouses start and grow businesses. But it became apparent that immediately that feeding these prepared business owners for the other incubators and accelerators in the region and nationwide was a secondary goal. You know, we want those, there's resources out there for you. But if you're not at a place where you can benefit from them, then it's a waste of your time and it's a waste of theirs. And in the last 4 years, I've talked to a couple of people that jumped right into an incubator right after they decided they were going to start a business and got on Sunbiz and created an LLC. And they're like, okay, I need to go to an incubator because I need to incubate my business. No, you need to build it first. You need to model it and figure out what it looks like first, and then you can incubate it. And they get disillusioned by the process because they jump too soon. And it
Yeah.
becomes too much of a challenge. There's nothing easy about any of this. There really isn't. I mean, once in a while somebody has a really easy time starting a business because they happen to be in the right place at the right time with the right product or service and the right capacity to service that business. But when you jump into things too soon, you're just a fish out of water and you just can't figure out how to get traction. So I agree with you. That's definitely what I advocate always for.
Yeah. So, okay, do we have any other announcement?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
think so.
well, the ECC has something interesting going on.
They always have
Um,
something interesting at the ECC. If you are
yeah,
listening and you don't have, if you are listening on Facebook and you do not have a subscription to the ECC's mailing list, you are just losing it because
and
they
that's the
have
Entrepreneur
so much.
Collaborative Center.
Yeah, they have so many good things on there. They've got 90 or 100 partners that put presentations on there from anything you can imagine. That is the place to check. But go ahead, I
Um,
didn't mean to interrupt.
oh no, that's okay.
I mean, I did, but I don't care. So go ahead.
On Thursday, Operation New Uniform is holding their graduation there. So I'm pretty excited about attending that.
Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, Operation New Uniform is an organization that helps transitioning veterans essentially learn to sell themselves for employment. That whole it's trying to look for employment is challenging in itself, but
Mhm.
when you've never had to sell yourself, it's even more challenging. So, and I know some people who are still in uniform or transitioning right now don't like that I use the words sell yourself, but that is really what it is.
It is. It is. You can't expect an employer to look at your resume and think that, okay, this is the perfect candidate. You need to be able to shine both on your resume and in person during the interview. And that
Yeah.
can be tough, especially for transitioning military people, because it's such a
Mhm.
different environment.
It is. And I have met the founders of that organization. They are just phenomenal, dynamic, experienced, and in the staff. I mean, they're a great organization. So if you've never heard of them and you'd like to visit the Entrepreneur Collaborative Center, the ECC, and see me and Rosie at our office there, Action Zone, show up on Thursday,
Yes,
nine
but I'll
thirty.
be in Ohio on Thursday. I won't be there.
Oh yeah, when are you leaving? Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not snowing yet.
I didn't even I always check the weather before I go up there because it is August and it should still be pretty hot. In
No.
August in Ohio, is what I remember growing up was that it was just as hot as it's here in July. Hot and muggy. So I'm hopeful that it will be the same and that we don't get like a surprise snowstorm while I'm up there. Because I already told my father, these monthly visits are going to stop when that white shit starts falling. I'm not going up there in the snow. I
Ah,
will
he needs
not
to
do
come down
snow.
here. You
I
tell
know. I told
you
him he needs
tell
to be a
dad,
snowbird.
yes, that battle said, you need to come to Florida when that snow shit starts hitting the ground.
Yep. I
You-
want him and Diane to come down and spend a week. I want them to meet my dogs. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
'Cause we're all such dog people. I want them to come down so they can meet my dogs.
Aw, that's cute. And something else that's happening this week, Greg Fallon and his Tampa Bay VetNet, they have a meetup at from 5 to 7 on Wednesday at um Brick House Tavern. Is that what that place is called? Brick House Tavern?
I
Let
don't
me
know.
see.
You are
Oh,
much more well versed in the Tampa bar scene than I am.
yeah. Well, it's a restaurant. It's kind of like a sports bar, I think.
Uh-huh.
Mixer, veteran mixer. What's the location? This is one thing that drives me crazy. When you accept an invite we're going back to LinkedIn. When you accept an invite on LinkedIn and puts it on your calendar, it doesn't put the location.
Oh man.
So you got to go back to the invite. So this is 5 to 8 at Brick House Tavern in the back room, hosted by Greg Fallon and his Tampa Bay VetNet. And he has been doing this for years.
Yes,
I
he
mean,
has.
even longer than we have had Action Zone.
Yep.
So you want to talk about just dedication and resilience and persistence and helping to support our military community. Greg Fallon. And if you need a financial advisor, he works for Mutual. What is that?
Mutual of Omaha.
Yeah, no. Oh my goodness, having another brain fart this morning. Um,
I read on Facebook today that when you have these memory problems, it's actually a sign of extreme intelligence. And that's
no,
my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I'll take that because I always joke that what here it is. Edward Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
How'd you
he's a
get
financial
mutual out
advisor.
of that?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and he used to be in the Navy. He's a Navy veteran. Slow.
The Village People song went in my head when you said that.
Oh,
Now
funny.
it won't leave in the Navy.
Yeah. Oh, funny. Um,
I'm
oh,
looking
I
at the desk
oh
so
no, I knew what I wanted to talk about today. I forgot because as normal, we're not scripted and we just kind of go where the conversation goes. I started reading this book called Atomic Habits.
Ooh.
Yes, because well, anyway, I got the book. It's so good that before the first chapter, I ordered Jeremy his own.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so all through the
Because like a good wife, anything you're doing, the husband has to do too.
well, of course. No, because it when I was back in the day when I was really fit and I would train people on fitness and nutrition, I would always tell them like it's just little changes.
Mhm.
If you're always a uh, ground beef eater, like every other time, try ground turkey. Or, if you only eat chicken thighs, every other time, just introduce white meat, just those little changes. If you're love sour cream, just try Greek yogurt on your potato, whatever. With exercising, it's just, um, if you're not a runner, just run as far as you can and stop, and do a little walk and then do it again, just like little changes. And so that's really the premise of this book,
Oh
is
wow.
that it is atomic, which is itty bitty, um,
Not like a big blow up atomic.
right. So it's just, those little micro changes. Um, so anyway, that is the professional development advice of the day.
Will you put a link to the book
I
for
will.
Amazon Smile
Yes,
on
I always do.
I know you do in the chat because that
Yeah.
sounds like valuable reading.
Mhm.
We don't, we are all guilty of this, and I know we speak about this at several, especially when we're talking to guests, when we have guests on the show, is that spending time working on you is equally as important as spending time working on your business.
Yeah.
Um, Xavier Clark, my boss at Bunker Labs, introduced me to the term clarity break. Never had heard of it before. And boy, I'm loving that phrase. And I'm loving instituting it into my life in various ways. But
Mm.
we need that. We need to step back and just take some time for us because it can't be go, go, go all the time. I say that go, go, going for 4 years now, but go, go, going all the time is not healthy. You can't feel, I
Well,
think I said this to you. I feel guilty if I'm not working on something. That's not
mhm.
healthy. That's not,
Yeah.
so that'll be my first little atomic tweak. But put the link because I want to read the book.
Yeah, it's really good. So in 2019, Jeremy and I, we decided to take a step back and attack things more methodical with our business and, just life. And so we did a luminary offsite and we implemented, we worked on our business model. We implemented Russ's mission mapping. Like we had our whole 2020 planned out down to every hour what we were going to be doing every day. And of course, that was,
Wow.
implementing Action Zone and Bunker Lab. So I felt very ready, when Bunker Lab started talking to me about potentially being at least a contractor moving into a full-time employee. And
And the pandemic hit.
yes, I mean, we even had a plan, and those who know me will be surprised to hear this, to have at least 2 hires by the end of the year.
Oh my, end of 1919 or
In
2019?
2020. Yeah,
Okay.
2020. Yeah, then the pandemic happened and all of our plans went to shit. And then we haven't been able to really just kind of regroup again. I mean, we plan things out, but like seriously take a week and do all of that stuff. So I had this epiphany not too long ago, and I was like, I have been serving since I was 20 years old when I went into the army. Even when I came out of the army, I hit the ground running, trying to figure out
Yep.
how to keep serving, transitioning veterans, and now, entrepreneurs. And I was like, I need to kind of regroup and focus. And maybe it has a little bit to do that I'm getting ready to turn 50 in January, but there's just so much stuff that I want to do. And I know that if I don't or that I want to do for myself,
Right.
that I just have to figure out how to take a step back from serving others so I can fit those things in. And so reading this book is part of that things. I've got a couple of things happening that I can't announce yet, but then reading this book so that January 2023, like I am hitting the ground running.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's going to be a combination of serving others and serving Valerie.
You know, why don't we have an Action Zone book club?
Well, who's going to run it?
Well, we'll figure that out. But this is because we always do. But when I look, if you ever have a conversation with Russ Barnes, you see in his background is his massive library. I've never been to his house, but if I ever get to go there, I'm just going to put myself in that room and lock the door and not be sociable. I'm just going to be looking for all of his books. But we always get these great ideas for recommendations for books, and this one is another good one. And we could certainly have. Okay, I gotta stop.
No, why don't we just create a reading list
We
and
could do that.
put the reading list on the webpage?
But it would be so much fun to talk about it with other people. See, if you want to know how Action Zone got started, this is it. Why don't we start? Always starts with why don't we, or why doesn't someone? But it would be great to talk about these books. Natasha's probably out there pounding on her table, going, "Absolutely, I would read them and join in." Is she here today? I'm sure she
I
is.
don't know. I forgot to look. I've been so into our conversation. I forgot to see who's watching. Good morning. Linda Stevens, all the way from Chattanooga.
Hey, Linda, how are ya?
Hey. And she's like, been there, done that, no snow. She doesn't want to go to Ohio in the snow either.
Yeah, but where's she at? She's where it snows, doesn't
Yeah, I
she?
know. She's in Chattanooga. I've been
Oh
in
yeah,
Chattanooga, my friend Linda, and it's cold there.
yeah, it is.
Um, well, I went there with John Ship and Dan Gilmore. They had a Bunker Connect there, and it was still fall. So we were outside and it was brisk,
Ooh,
but it wasn't cold. I mean, it wasn't cold. All I was wearing a sweatshirt, so it was
for
good
me,
enough.
that would have been freezing if it was
Yeah,
brisk for
she
you.
says I am good. Oh, she's like you. She got COVID and it's been like 2 weeks, it seems like, and she's still testing positive. Linda,
Oh,
stop testing. Stop wasting your money on those tests. You're
I
not
know.
contagious anymore. Oh, she actually lives in, oh, she used to live in Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah,
Oh, so she knows exactly.
yeah, she knows.
All that snow up there. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I'm not doing that.
So
Anyway,
Linda,
Linda would yeah, the free tests are great. I just learned
uh,
that I don't have to test for my upcoming cruise. I'm very happy they're doing away
yeah,
with
I heard they just announced that.
it.
So
And crap, I just forgot. Oh, Linda, since you're listening, would you participate in a book club if Action Zone had a book club? And there's my Natasha. So
yeah,
just that
Natasha,
little window open.
yeah, there she is. Uh,
Yeah, which I thought she said. I thought Linda said no, thank you to the book. But she said no, thank you to the snow, and I get it. I get it.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm gonna work on this because I just you know me, I get an idea in my head and I'll figure out somebody that'll facilitate it. But I
yeah,
think it would be a first of all, it'd be great for me because if I had to carve out a time to just read and then be accountable to it at a book club, then I would probably actually do it. I will tell you, at my age, reading is the best knockout. I don't need anything to go to sleep if I read a book.
yeah,
As if I'm sitting up in a chair, I'm okay. If I try to read in bed, out in a minute.
yeah.
I would love to do that.
So we actually have a reading list that we have all created actions that we all put in our thing. So we actually have it already created. Secondly, that is why I actually read in the morning. I
Oh,
don't read at night because I don't read uh is it fiction when it's made up?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't read fiction books. So if I'm reading a book, it's for professional development, to fill me up. And if I'm reading it at night, then it's not filling me up.
No, it's putting you to sleep, right?
I mean, it's
So maybe
sleep.
it's not an age thing after all. It's just a time
Yeah,
of the day thing.
I think a
Well,
lot of people will do that.
you know, the Lions Club and the Toastmasters groups, all of those used to meet at like Denny's at 7 o'clock in the morning before they had their big breakfast rush. And I remember that as a kid seeing the plaque on the wall in some of those restaurants. I am going to, for you are listening, I am going to work on this book club thing. And I think the idea that you just gave me to read in the morning is one of those little atomic suggestions. Like it's just a little
Mhm.
thing to change. I don't
Yeah,
have to come right to my computer at 4 o'clock when I wake up, right? Coffee in tow, checking the email. I
yeah,
can actually do something for me instead. And
right.
that was the point.
That's why I didn't turn my computer on and I didn't realize it was forcing me to restart this morning because I roll out of bed. I read some Atomic Habits. I did some things in the kitchen. I fed the dogs, and then I'm cleaning out my closet and doing other things. So laundry, yeah,
Oh man,
reading,
I
yeah.
can't even imagine having
So Natasha said she heard about the cruise
yeah.
and thought of you, and Linda has had Atomic Habits on her list. Linda, you got to read it. She likes to listen to audiobooks.
Yeah, I
Me
have trouble
too.
with that.
Well, I don't like to read audiobooks because um
I'm so jealous of people who can and get something out of it. You know, Russ is a big audio. Oh yeah, because you make take notes. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't do audiobooks, but I do podcasts when I work out. I've got this one that I'm obsessed with right now. It's called Chasing Life with the Gupta guy, Dr. Gupta.
The
Gosh,
Google
where is my
guy.
brain this morning? I'm gonna tell you what his name is. He, Chasing Life.
Linda, I understand completely. I when I can't think about things when I'm doing other things like that, like going to the gym or working in the yard, mowing the grass, that kind of thing. Mine is music. That's definitely calms the savage beast. I listen to a lot of music on my headphones. Of course, it
Chasing.
sounds funny because nobody else can hear it but me, and I'm singing. But that's another story for another day.
I'm sure the dogs appreciate that you do that in the car and not in the shower.
Yeah,
You might
yeah,
hear you.
probably.
Yeah, Chasing Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. And it's really interesting. The last episode, and here, well, when I'm at Mayweather Boxing, I can't listen to music because I got to listen to the coach
Right.
to know when to switch bags and all that stuff. But when I'm at the YMCA and lifting weights by myself or sitting in the sauna at the YMCA, I listen to this. And the last episode, he had another doctor on there that prescribes time in nature.
Wow.
Yes, that it is all these studies that time in nature helps to lower all of the things that make us all the body functions, cortisone levels, anxiety,
Mhm.
and all that leads to inflammation, which is really the crux of all
All
diseases.
evil in the world.
Oh yeah.
Inflated
So
egos, inflated body parts, it all is inflammation is the cause.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so eventually one of my little atomic habit tweaks is going to be getting out in the morning. Haven't figured out how I'm going to fit that in, but I'm gonna try.
You can walk the dogs. I bought Luna a harness so we can start walking in the morning because it's starting to
Yeah,
cool down in the morning, so it's easier to do that.
yeah. So uh Kane has proven, like, we were walking the dogs at night. And then I was like, okay, maybe I'll try to walk Kane in the morning. And either he doesn't want to walk because he's not walking with Samson anymore, or he doesn't want to walk in the morning because he's a slow riser. Let me tell
Oh,
you,
is he?
sometimes, oh goodness, we'll be awake and he'll just sit there and, open and close his eyes for a couple of hours.
How old is he?
7, but he's always been that way. Ever since we
Really?
rescued him as a 6-month puppy from the shelter, he's
Wow.
always been like morning person, not.
My kind of dog.
Yeah.
Amazon showed up at my house at 5 o'clock this morning with something I didn't think they were going to deliver till later today, and my dogs were at the door greeting them.
Oh
I'm sure
wow.
that Amazon delivery driver had to clean his pants when he got done because I don't think he expected those two girls to be at that window. I've got one of those
Uh,
light windows and
yeah.
kind of bark that they have naturally. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I heard the door slam suddenly, but I didn't hear the little pit patter of him running back to his car.
Oh, funny.
So my
Yeah.
my dogs are definitely morning dogs. They're afternoon nappers though.
Yeah.
They're like sprawled out like this on the I don't understand how the dogs can sleep with one leg up in the air.
Oh,
Okay,
that's
it's
so cool.
9:38 and we've talked about a lot of different stuff
I
today. We're about to get
know.
ready for an appointment. So,
So thanks everybody for joining us. Linda said that that's why she's tuning in here, so that she's putting together a design book to get herself centered and move forward with her business. So
yeah.
anybody on here, if you need, I'll just call them chachis, any kind of, what do you call those things? Promotional items.
Yes.
Any type of promotional items. Linda is, that's her business.
Oh, cool.
And her family, they're a Marine veteran family.
Well, I'm excited to have her spend time with us in Action Zone
She
and
is.
really glad that she's going to be a part of it. And so, for the rest of you, we'll recap briefly that we have an in person cohort starting on September 17th, and we have a virtual cohort starting on October 22nd. And we have an Action Zone Incubate starting on October 5th. There'll be more announcements about that. Q&A this Wednesday. I'll get the Eventbrite links into the chat for just a casual. Um, I'll tell you about the Activate program. You can ask your questions and determine if it's the right one for you. So, Linda, so glad you were able to join us. We're here every Monday. Come rain or shine, one of us is always here, usually both of us. And next week we have a special guest.
Ooh,
Um, and I'll put the promotion in the Facebook, but you don't want to miss this one because, especially if you're in the Tampa area, this is going to be really exciting for you to meet this individual and the organization that she has started on Facebook and how it will help you in your business in Tampa.
awesome.
So that's
All
enough
right,
about
Battle. I'm sure I'll see your amazing smile and those blue eyes and shortly.
talk to you later. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye, everybody.